Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton, and today we have a really special treat for you. We are going to introduce you to 9 of the top students in this year's graduating class from Hampton City Schools. They are the valedictorians and salutatorians at our 4 high schools, and they're going to tell you in their own words about their lives and their achievements, and I think you will be as impressed as I am to hear from these wonderful young leaders.
Hello, my name is Michael Hendrickson, and I'm the 2017 valedictorian of Phoebus High School. What kind of connector, like we're using these connectors here, what kind of connector is that central node going to have though?
It may have this kind of connector.
I started becoming really passionate in the engineering and technology field in middle school with different after-school clubs and classes. And the robotics here at Phoebus has really kind of taken that to the next level in a sense. I get a lot of hands-on experience, machining, designing, and that sort of thing. I feel kind of at home doing that. It feels natural. I really, really like doing it, and I want to keep doing that. I did know for a while that I was going to be the valedictorian. Since the start of high school, that was kind of my goal. I wanted to put in the work, and that was something I wanted to achieve. So, I mean, when my principal came up and announced it officially and congratulated me, it felt nice that I had achieved my goal there, and it was just pretty reassuring. I've worked really hard since the start of high school. I've managed my time focusing on the work I need to get done for the next day and just taking it one step at a time. I actually have a real long list going of to-do items that I cross off daily. That kind of keeps me focused and motivated to cross off the next thing on the list. So I kind of focus on my schoolwork and get what I need done, what's expected of me, and then whatever free time I have, I really enjoy relaxing and just taking a break from it all, and also spending time with friends. It's really important to me. I was accepted to a total of 2 schools, Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech. Virginia Tech is the school I really went out and toured before I applied. Kind of growing up, I've always looked at Virginia Tech as a really nice school, really focused on the engineering, which of course is where I'm interested. So I think for me, with it being local, close to family, it was an easy choice. And touring there, I really love the scenery, the landscape. I think it's really beautiful. I met with some of the teachers and students there. I really like the atmosphere of Virginia Tech, and so I'm really excited to start in the fall. My kind of dream career would be to enter the motorsport industry. I really like motorsport as a sports series and the technology, the development that goes into developing the race cars. So for me, that'd be my long-term passion. When it's a long night staying up doing homework or something like that, it's easy to go through the motions and just kind of be there doing whatever you want, but it's important to set your mind to something, and once you set your mind to that, don't give up, because your hard work that's what defines you, that's what you are. So it's important you define who you are and go reach your goals.
We'll put a tag on that.
Mm-hmm.
Put a tag on, or we'll tag this with the can number or something.
What kind of connector, like we're using these connectors here, what kind of connector is that central node going to have though?
Set.
Yes, let's take your mark.
I'm Amira Duma, Phoebus High School, class 2017 salutatorian.
Here are the results.
Track has literally almost been my whole life. My mom was running track before she had me, and then basically kind of born on the track. My father ran track. I was running track since before I could actually compete, to the point where like I started actually competing when I was 6. So it's been my passion for a minute, to the point I just don't like losing. Kind of like the salutatorian thing. But you know, as I got older, I realized like this is what I like to do. This is what I want to do. This is what makes me happy. Running is just my go-to. So, you know, when I got injured, it hurts everybody, but when you have been doing it for a long time, it just hurts a little more. My grandfather definitely influenced me. He's always been a hard worker. And of course my mother, she's just been amazing in my life. She makes sure everything I'm taken care of first all the time. She's been a role model, determination, like compassion. She's my number one. I really credit my teachers for helping me balance, because without them, I would have been doing terrible. Like I had missed so much work. I had like an F in one class and then had to sit and do all my makeup work. And like my teachers actually, didn't have a problem. They were willing to help me out and work with me, even when I was gone for like 2 and 3 days. They were just willing to work with me and help me. And it's just determination to always want to do better and not to settle for yourself. Like, of course you could just take a C, but that's not what you want. Like, of course you could just slack in practice, but that's not what you want. You always want to go harder, do harder to be better than the next person, even if like you should just not be okay with being average. HU, VCU, Clemson, Ohio State, USF, and Virginia Tech, and of course Illinois. But when I got down to it, Illinois really did stand out to me because of the kinesiology program. Clemson had a good program too in Ohio State, but at the same time, I didn't really feel like I fit in with the school. Because you know, you go to the school, you on the campus, and you trying to look around to see what's, you know, do I fit in here? What I like, you know, do I see anybody like I could click with? And I, you know, didn't really get that from the other schools. I kind of felt like I was just at home at Illinois. Like that 2 days I got there wasn't enough. I just wanted to be there more, wanted to see more about the campus, wanted to actually live on the campus, see what it's like, actually like, even though I got a little glimpse, you know, got a little taste, but I want the whole thing. When I was about 12, I had a rare disorder, apparently on my dad's side, where our knees start to ache and mess up and stuff when we start to grow. I went to physical therapy and I liked it a lot. And to the point where now, like, I'm always trying to help out my teammates, always trying to figure out something. Anatomy was like one of my favorite subjects because I got to learn about stuff like that. And my school has one of the top 10 programs in the country. Right now, I'm looking at anatomy and physiology, like on the college level, trying to take medical terminology. Faith without hard work is dead. You can want something as bad as you want, but you have to want it hard enough to work for it. The hard work is what you're doing behind the scenes, what you're doing when you're not at practice, even in classwork. You may even study a little extra. You can't just want something and not work for it. The hard work is what's about it. Like, I want to be better than somebody else, but I'm refusing to practice. That doesn't make sense. You have to want it, because in actuality, somebody wants it just as hard as you, or worse. And me, I want it worse. I want it bad. I want it, so I'm gonna work hard for it. Even when I'm injured, I'm still gonna go to the gym, you drink extra water, do whatever I have to do, go to PT extra if I have to. I want it, so I'm gonna work hard.
Here are the results for the
Please explain to me, why are you talking about...
Hey, I'm Ashley Orgain, and I'm Bethel High School's 2017 valedictorian.
Well,
All right, I'll take your offer. Let's take her down.
good choice.
I just think it's great to be able to put on a show for other people to enjoy, and it's just this space where you can do whatever and you can entertain other people while still having fun and working at the same time. And it's just a lot of fun to put on shows, and I definitely want to keep doing it. Now we're doing the play called The Election, which is like a parody of every election, and we're trying to produce that and working on that set and acting and all that. Definitely my parents and my guidance counselor Miss Williams has been like the greatest support ever, and my drama director, Miss Hale and Miss Bourne, were really great influences freshman year, and obviously they've stayed that the entire time I've been at Bethel. It's just making sure when you do have a lot of work, you're on top of it, and when you have free time in class, you're working on it so then you can have more free time at home. Or some weeks you don't, but most of the time, if you keep a solid work pace and work ethic up, you have free time to do what you want with all your clubs, and even more at the end of the day. I only applied to 2 schools. I applied to University of Richmond and I applied to William & Mary. I got waitlisted at Richmond and I got into William & Mary, so obviously I had to pick it, but I didn't feel like I was forced to. I'm actually really excited to be going because it just felt so amazing and welcoming, and I love the campus. I love the programs. William & Mary really stood out as a choice because it's flexible with what you can do. Like, I'm majoring in theater and minoring in marketing, and then they have a really great study abroad program, which I plan on taking advantage of. I want to get into directing or casting directing. I'm not sure if I want to do more the film side or the theater side yet. Right now I'm leading theater, and then I also want to like work on either screenwriting or playwriting, as well as just writing like a book, or even if it's like math, which I'm not personally interested in, or other topics that you find you're less passionate about. You have to put the passion in because it makes it easier to do. And then everything's important. There is a point where you won't have to do all the well-rounded stuff, so you can focus on what you really want to do. It's just like a hoop that you have to jump through. So if you have it, all right, let me just get through this, and then you can focus on what you really want to do. That's my mindset on how to keep motivation up to get everything done.
My name is Gabriela Coronado, the salutatorian at Bethel High School, class of 2017. I've been playing since I was 9 years old. It all started with my sister. She loved softball before me, before anything else that came. And my father was like, oh, well, if your older sister plays, you should go play. And she was a pitcher, so I would go out and catch for her. And that was the position I fell in love with. My dad wanted me to learn how to pitch, so I did. I couldn't do it. I sucked at it. I was slow. They tell you that accuracy is all that matters. Nah, it's speed. It's all about determination. My mom will constantly tell me, you're not going to leave this sport. You're too stubborn. It doesn't matter about my team. It doesn't matter if they're great. It's a matter of if they love each other, and if they don't, we'll work it out. We'll find a way to bring them together because we're family. We've grown up together. We've enjoyed each other's time. We live in each other's presence. We're not going to give up on each other. Awesome. With my parents, though, they never rode me as much as other kids would. Not like people would think, at least. My dad was kind of like, okay, if this is what you want, you go for it, you take it. And my mom, on the other hand, she was kind of like, this is you. This is what you're aiming for. You're not going to back down, so go. Do it. It wasn't as hard as people would believe, because with softball, like, it really kept you on schedule. And I just constantly thought, okay, I go to softball practice, that relieves all my stress. And then I come home, I take a shower, and I do my homework. The homework would be done so fast because I could focus. All my energy was on that, and it was the easiest thing to do. I applied to 2 schools, William & Mary and ULL. I was going to go to ULL for softball because they were going to give me a full ride over there. Yeah, a softball scholarship. I was so excited, but at the end of the day, I was like, is that what I want to do? Am I going to let everything ride on top of softball when I know I have something in my head? I'm not going to spend my whole life chasing after softball, because where can I go after college? There's only one pro team. And then I decided, well, my brother goes to William & Mary off a full ride, and I love my brother so much. So why not follow him? I know what William & Mary looks like. I've been there so many times, stayed up there with my brother. And the campus, it feels like home. And I was so excited. Seeing how happy it made my brother, I knew I would be happy if I went there, especially to be back with someone like that. Not being apart, since my mom always called us twins, although we were separated by a year. He talked to me, talked for me for the longest time. I never talked when I was a kid. And so we always had this bond that no one could replace. So being with him, I would love it. Relax, breathe. It's all just a game. At the end of the day, it's about what's in here that's driving you and what's up here. Because you're never going to get anywhere if you're going to let other people choose for you.
My name is Caitlin Herman. I'm the valedictorian of Kickingham High School class of 2017. I've kind of been in the top 3 since 9th grade. So when I first found out, it kind of wasn't really that big of a shock to me, but then it kind of set in and I was like, wow, I can't believe I actually did it. My mom, we're kind of best friends, so she definitely is always on top of me she's kind of like a helicopter mom, making me get my stuff done. And definitely my grandma, who she recently passed away, but she was the one who always made sure I had everything that I needed, especially because I have 4 or 3 younger siblings, and so she was kind of there to help my mom with me, make sure I get what I need. I definitely am not the best at time management. I'm a pretty big procrastinator, even though somehow I made it happen. I don't know, I think having more things to do kind of helped me manage my time better. I have a certain amount of time to get my homework done, then I have to go to practice, and I have to go hang out with my friends, volunteer, instead of having nothing to do and just having so much free time that I don't even know what to do with it. So I think that kind of helps, having more to do. The first school I was accepted to was, I think Tech, and then I heard back from William & Mary. No, then I heard back from UVA, then William & Mary, and then University of Washington. And those were the kind of 4 that I was really looking at. And I'd been to Tech, I'd been to William & Mary, because it's right down the street, and then I've obviously never been to Washington, but I don't know. And then UVA, I'd never been, and I'd always been kind of looking at it because it's such a good school, and my mom really wanted kind of push me towards it, and I was always no. And then I went to Charlottesville just to visit, just to take a look, and I kind of just fell in love with Charlottesville and the atmosphere and the campus at UVA, and just everyone was really welcoming, and it just seemed like a really good place. I feel like I fit in there, so that's why I chose UVA. I've had the same friends pretty much since elementary school, so that's probably what I'm gonna miss the most, is the people. So yeah, none of my friends are really coming to UVA with me. We're all going our separate ways, so that's probably what I'm gonna miss the most. I would never miss up an opportunity to do something fun with my friends or something that would create memories with the people I care about. But then I know that when I get back home, I have to double time to get my work done. So, you just have to have a list of priorities and make sure you prioritize the things you need to do, but also make sure you have fun while you're doing it.
Hello, I'm Peter Capriotti. I am the salutatorian here at Kickingham High School for the class of 2017. I was pretty relieved because I was having some issues first semester, and I thought, dang, I just lost this. And I had originally been tied with Caitlin back last year, but I was kind of surprised that I ended up still being salutatorian after my issues first semester. Both my mom and my dad, they sacrificed a lot to bring me up as well as my 3 siblings. Mom, she used to work as a midwife and a nurse practitioner, but she stopped doing that so she could raise all of us. And I think that's made a pretty big impact. And my dad, who works as an engineer to support our family, that's pretty nice. Besides that, probably a lot of the good teachers here. I've had a lot of teachers that have been really supportive, that have been really helpful, even if I have issues with something, and I have to say that too. And I've always tried to take any programming class I could. We didn't really have that many opportunities back in middle school, but when I got here, I took computer math, then AP Computer Science A, and this year I'm taking computer science principles. I even attended Gov School for Computer Science last year, and those opportunities were pretty nice. I don't really know what specifically about it, but I just find computer science really interesting and really enjoyable to do. I do pull a lot of all-nighters to keep up with schoolwork sometimes, particularly the day before a project if I know I'm not going to be finished if I go to bed. So I do have to make a lot of sacrifices in terms of that. I have to make a lot of sacrifices in terms of recreation, games. Yeah, some of my extracurriculars probably have been hurt by the academics, but you had to make sacrifices here and there. I applied to UVA early action. I applied to Tech, and then I applied to Mason. George Mason has a really nice cybersecurity program that's opening up, and I was considering dual majoring in computer science and cybersecurity, so I figured I would apply there. Virginia Tech is also one of the really, really nice engineering schools, and of course computer science is pretty much always hosted in the engineering school. So those were 2 schools I was looking at because of that. I did visit UVA, and I did choose that over Tech or Mason. One of the reasons is it's a large school, so there's a lot of opportunities there, a lot of clubs there. I even spoke with people there at the tour. They said you could create your own club if you got only 10 or so people. You could even get funding from the school, potentially. And you also have a lot of internship opportunities there, which I plan on going to. So I think that'll be really helpful. We had a really nice support teacher network that I mentioned here. I've had a lot of great teachers who teach pretty well. I thought I learned the material very well, scored really well on the AP exams. Gonna miss that. A lot of teachers that are supportive if you have issues, and they'll help work things out with you. Gonna miss that too. I mean, I hope that going to UVA, they'll have things like that, and because it's a good school. Not entirely sure, but I'll miss that here.
Anka Shummerdet, Hampton High School, class of 2017, co-valedictorian. I actually learned how to solve back in 8th grade. My best friend taught me, and he actually taught the entire school almost. So there was about 50 kids by the end of the school year just walking around with Rubik's Cubes. But I was pretty much the only one that actually kind of took it seriously and continued, solving it. And it was just really fun. I enjoy math and patterns. There's a lot of patterns and memorization in Rubik's Cubing. And it's just something I, found I was pretty good at, and I just continued, and I go to competitions now, and the rest is history. I just practice. I don't practice as much anymore because school's been pretty busy lately, but definitely 9th and 10th grade, I practiced every day for about an hour or so, so it took a lot of work to get to where I am now. I was really excited when I heard that it was me and Hunter that were going to be together. We've known each other for so long, for about 10 years now, and it was just really fitting that we both were able to finish out on top because it just worked out that way. So we were both excited. Coming into the beginning of the school year, for the beginning of the first semester, I knew I was in front, so as long as I kept my grades up for the first semester, I would be able to finish out on top. So when I ended up getting the straight A's and finishing out on top, it was like, whew, I managed to accomplish getting first. My 11th grade physics teacher, Dr. Wu, that was quite a class, and that definitely helped get me focused more on school. I'd say the first 2 years of high school, I wouldn't say I wasn't as focused, but once I came to the governor's school, I really learned different habits of completing homework, having a passion for learning, as I do now. And so that class really helped me, and that teacher, Dr. Wu's energy really helped me focus my efforts. Of course, my parents. Time management is definitely key because you don't want to just only focus on schoolwork. You want to have friends too. I always find time to hang out with my friends. I always find time to do stuff with my parents. You just gotta not waste time. You gotta always either be doing something for homework or, there's always time to relax, but you always want to find a way to fit everything into your schedule. So that's how I've managed in my head to at least do all my schoolwork, but then also manage to do soccer, Scholastic Bowl, Rubik's Cubing, stuff like that. Well, the 3 schools I got accepted into were UVA, William & Mary, and Caltech. I applied to some Ivies. I didn't get accepted into them, but so in the end, my 2 choices were either UVA or Caltech. And I chose Caltech because it's a technology school, and I'm a STEM person. I enjoy math and computers and science, and so Caltech was just the best fit for me when it comes to, advancing my knowledge in those areas. UVA was more liberal arts oriented, so that wasn't as interesting to me. So I think Caltech was the best option for what I want to do in the future. I'm going to major in applied math and computer science. Well, it's the major at Caltech is called computational and applied math, so it's basically a mix of math and computers. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do, but definitely something in that field, maybe statistics, analytics, maybe working more in the science field. I'm not exactly sure yet what I want to do, but something with math for sure. Try to stay focused. I'd say there's plenty of opportunities in high school to stay off track or get off track and doing things you shouldn't be doing, hanging with the people you shouldn't be hanging out with. So try to find the right people to hang out with, try to find the right things to do, and if you stay focused, then anything's possible.
My name is Hunter Thompson, and I'm the co-valedictorian of Hampton High School for the class of 2017. I'm currently in Germany doing a year-long exchange program called the Congress Bundestag Youth Exchange Program, and it's basically an exchange between the U.S. government and the German government of high school students to improve cultural relations between Germany and America. And I'm currently staying in Osnabrück, Germany, and I'm actually visiting Berlin next week, which is in May, and we're meeting the Bundestag, which is the German parliament, and we're seeing the parliamentary members, and it's supposed to be just like we are supposed to be, they call us young ambassadors or youth ambassadors, and we're supposed to represent our country and show Germans in Germany what the U.S. is about. I felt proud of everything that I'd done over the past 3 years in school, and everything that all the work I had done in my classes, and it felt like it was something that had developed through all of the hard work that I put into school. I really liked the University of Chicago, at first because I really liked the academic nature of the school. I to major in physics, and as I looked up more and more about Chicago, I got more and more interested in its physics program, and that was something that first pulled me towards the school. But then as I learned more about the culture, that made it stand out a bit more from other schools. So at first I really wasn't sure about where I wanted to go at all, and then in the last year I remember looking up University of Chicago and being really interested with the housing system of the school, and also just how the culture was. I'm thinking I want to do a double major in international relations and physics if possible, or maybe physics with an international relations minor somehow in the international direction. And that relates to what I want to do in my future career, because I want to do something in the direction of scientific research with like a focus on diplomacy, the diplomatic aspects of it, in which I would try to connect different teams of scientists and whatnot together. So scientists who might come from, researchers who might come from different nations, who might not have otherwise had the opportunity to research with each other, but are really smart people, and connect those groups like that together. My parents have helped me a lot, and then all of my teachers have helped me, especially my teachers in the last 2 years I can think of off the top of my head, such as Ms. Gateau, Mr. Tolliver, Ms. Guernsey, Mr. Sear, who else? Frau Graver, Mr. Scruden, Madame Cunningham, but also my guidance counselor, Ms. Ambrosino, has helped me not only in the past 2 years, but throughout this year too. And I've been able to contact her, and she'd be able to get back to me almost immediately, even though I'm an ocean away from her, which has been really amazing. And then also all my friends back home, they're just great people. And yeah, and my grandparents and the rest of my family too.
Gloria, Alleluia, Gloria, in excelsis Deo, Christ the Lord is born. Hi, I'm Tyra Padilla of Hampton High School, salutatorian of class 2017. Can no one know at sunrise how this day is going to end? And I'm telling you, can't no one know at sunset. I've always loved being around music. My family just loves to play music all the time, and I enjoy listening to different genres of music. So I enjoy the opportunity to learn and to have the visceral feeling of loving music when I'm in class. I think it's a good hobby for me. I think it's important to be well-rounded in both academics and with the arts, and I just love to express myself through singing and learning music. Well, I was pretty much in disbelief because ever since 9th grade, I was always in number 3, and I knew who was in 1 and 2, and I was like, I already know these people. There's no way I could even get past them. So I was kind of content with the idea. So it was a very big surprise that that they both tied and I was able to become salutatorian. It meant a lot. Not many people from my family graduate high school. Only one person I know has gone to college. So it meant a lot to me that I was able to set an example and show that people in my family can show academic excellence and be able to be salutatorian. And obviously, my parents have influenced me. We moved away from New York, where all my family is. They immigrated from Honduras to go to New York, and when they were younger, and they grew up in New York, and they decided that they wanted to leave New York. And my dad joined the Navy, so that way he could earn money and be able to build a stable family for us. So I really appreciate the sacrifices that he has made in order to serve in the military and build a steady foundation in order for me to be able to be salutatorian or even just go to high school, go to the IB program, Hampton High School, in the first place. Well, I think the biggest thing that helped me throughout my 4 years is that whenever I did whatever class I took, whatever extracurricular that I joined, it had a deep meaning to me, and I knew that was going to help fulfill me as a person. So that so when it came to the hard times where I had to balance, I knew that even though this was a hard time that could weigh me down, I knew that in the end, if I worked through it, that there will always be a positive outcome. So it was just mostly self-motivation and knowing how to allot time to certain things and just to decide what is important at that time to work it out for myself and just deal with it. I was accepted to University of Virginia, University of North Carolina, VCU, University of Maryland, Baltimore County. I applied to those schools because they had like good reputations with like medical programs, but I ultimately chose Georgetown because I don't know, I felt a lot of people from like an IB usually went to like VCU, UVA, and so it was amazing for me to even get into Georgetown because it's a very competitive school in the first place. So I felt like I have the opportunity to go to Georgetown. It's something new. It's in DC. I get to go and experience new things, and it's in an urban area. So I just felt that to push myself, I should probably go to Georgetown and find out what experiences I can get there. I pretty much knew I wanted to join the medical field when I was a child because my mother was in the medical field as well, but she said if I was going to join the medical field, I should probably do a more prestigious profession. So I wanted to become a pediatrician because I enjoy working with kids, and I've been close with my siblings and my cousins for so long. So it just felt natural to me that if I was going to join the medical field, I would probably want to work with children. What you put into it is will help. So even if just because something seems hard doesn't mean that it's not worth it. You should always, because it's hard, that means that the payout will be so much better for you in the end. So, and just because people, there have not been that many people that have done it before you doesn't mean that you should just stop and give up. Set a new path for yourself, and also consider that there are people that support you and that you should work hard for them as well as for working hard for yourself.
How this day is going to end, and I'm telling you, can't no one know.